Open hand, yeah. Okay. Oh, I forgot to ready up. Am I like live? Yep, we're ready. Huh? Okay. Okay. Yep. Okay, yes. No, I don't see anything. Yeah, I don't think that's an option. Oh, okay. I think it's have a pair of 3 and 1 2, I think.
Yes. 3 and pair. So that's basic of the which a little bit. It's not too hard to think of it like because 4 times like technically losing it.
I see.
But you don't have to take that's just and still you're playing X usually is for rotating 4 times. In ranked is seeing the
Oh.
if you want to is consistent. How so consistent? There are ways. Which creates variables show up. More points. Points anyone.
I see.
Alright, so any okay, what kind of have in my hand. If any kind of get an idea. So any like sort of pairs or potential
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes just pull draws pair or
Oh, okay.
someone else discards it. That way you can go cheap hand. Hand her big see very cheap hand. Slightly more.
See.
Right? Support.
Okay. Guess I don't need these two.
Like yours.
Yeah. Share screen. Here you go. Wait a moment. Where is it? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there is. Oh wait, that's not it. It's your shader. Is this streaming mine? Yeah, I think it's just streaming mine. It should be on the bottom left, I think. There's a small icon with the game name and it's shared game stream. Yeah, I can see yours. Yeah, I can see yours now.
Because you its existence means.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what the red tiles mean. I see.
It's just naturally. So, usually.
So basically, it's just bonus points.
Yeah, and if that was pen, meaning that my pen is aka pen, habriiel, double door.
Hmm.
It's like just it. Now, I mean, as track shape after favor of
Mm-hmm.
reason. So, chances are, and do my, there is special 200 small, two triples So you have
A few dragons. So even you can throw the 1 and a 9. Like the 1 and a 9, like if you have a dragon it's fine. Like sometimes this is no Yaku for 1 and 9. Oh, okay.
If every pair in sequence goes, which can be games like sequences the condition is
I see.
hands in the game. Simple it influence. In your hand. And then Suji. That's a type. And you think about if their hand was a 2-sided weight or a 3-sided weight, and it's based off of sequences. So if I drop a 4 tile, for example, it could be any suit. If I just drop a 4 tile, well, and I'm in Riichii, people will look at them and think, chances are the 1 and 7 are safe. The reason for that is because if I drop a 4, my weight cannot be a 1-4-7 or a 4-7 or a 1-4 weight. So obviously it could be anything, right? But using that as some sort of knowledge, as a way to think about it, you can kind of start to like guess what you can and can't play out. Obviously there are such things, because such thing is widely known, there are such things as what's known as Suji traps, where people are waiting on a middle tile. So maybe they're waiting on that 7. I just happen to have like a 6-8 and wait on only the 7. Or if I have a pair weight, a double pair weight, instead. So it could also fall onto those tiles. It's because of that it's not a surefire way of playing defensively. The surefire way of playing defensively is known as Genbu, based off the turtle. And that is basically whatever the dealer's discards are, you follow along, you follow suit. That's called playing defensively, and it's a surefire way of never dealing into specifically to that player in particular.
I see.
That's about it, really. And when it comes to climbing the ladder, I'm going to discard tile here. When it comes to climbing the ladder, playing defensively is a very, very good way of playing, because when you minimize your losses, you maximize your gains. In playing ranked, usually only 4th place bears the heaviest punishment, the heaviest losses. And so when you avoid being 4th, you only have to work on not being 3rd too often, because being 3rd means you're also not climbing, but you don't lose as many points. The punishment is not heavy at all. It's 2nd and 1st place are where you get positive scores most of the time. Sometimes they're using positive, that's really rare. Normally 2nd and 1st are where you get your positive points in a rank setting. So that's why people generally try to aim for 2nd or 1st. 3rd is fine because it bears no direct consequence. Being 4th place nets you a massive loss. So that's why if you get 4th too often, you will derank very quickly.
See.
Seoul and Riichii City. That's why that's why people there's this meme about #NotLast for Mahjong in ranked, because that's really it. As long as you're not last, you're climbing. It is how I word it. As long as you're not 4th place, you're climbing. Even if you're in 3rd and you get like -12 ranks, it's much better than like -100 something you get in 4th place. It's very easy to win back like 12, 8, even up to like 20 lost points. It's very easy to run that back. A couple seconds or even a 1st will rocket you past that. So as long as you're, but 4th bears such a heavy punish that if you hit 4th, you're looking at least 2 games to equalize or pass that again. So it's really hard to come back from many 4th places on the rank ladder. If you're playing in like a tournament setting, obviously 4th places are no bueno. But depending on the rule set of the tournament and how the games are, you might want to be more actively trying to be aggressive. Because if it's based on scoring, for example, with a limited number of games you can play, then you really need to be earning those big points. So a lot of players shift their mindset and go for very big hands, usually worth 8,000 points or more. And those players, it comes down completely to luck, and also how well their game sense is, knowing what kind of hand they have versus knowing what kind of hand your opponents are going up against, and then playing accordingly. It's crazy stuff, and I'm not going to touch too much on that. I can't play on that level myself. I just go with the flow, and if I win, it's because I got really lucky.
Yeah, I feel like I sometimes get lucky and sometimes go on losing streak.
Yeah, I mean, you can be as strategic as you want in Mahjong, but when your opponent gets like a dealer 10 hole, which is winning at draw, there's nothing you can do. Like there's a lot of things you can do to mitigate losses, but sometimes the gods decides this person's winning, so they win. That's just how it is sometimes. It comes with the territory of things being RNG.
Yeah, RNG, and sometimes I just see they win every round for some reason.
I mean, if they consistently win, they're doing something right. It's not just RNG. RNG can only take you so far, honestly. I'm gonna call it now. So what does it mean by doing something right in Mahjong? And usually that's minimizing the number of wasted tiles. So what we mean by wasted tile is tile efficiency. So like you see my current hand, when you look at my hand and think about what tiles to discard and what tiles to keep. Tile efficiency generally just wants you to play discard tiles that give you the least outs compared to any other tile in your hand. That's tile efficiency.
I see.
So you're looking for the most number of outs you can give yourself as you progress your hand. By doing that, you give yourself the highest chances of getting tiles that would progress your hand and get you closer to a win, a W. And that's really it for Mahjong. It's knowing which tiles will give you the highest chance of giving you that win, whether it be a quick win or a slower win, big hand, small hand, like knowing what you're going for and then trying to work your way towards it the most efficiently possible. Sometimes the game just decides that they don't want you to win a hand and just start give you nothing but tiles that make no sense to keep in your hand, so you just endlessly discard wherever you draw for the next 6 draws, and you can't help that sometimes. But that's not going to be a consistent case. So for me here, because I called the 1, 2, 3, for example, my hand shape is now in a interesting spot. I have 3, 4, 6 mon tiles, 2 5-pin, 1, 1, 3 bamboo tiles.
Mm-hmm.
And what this means is that I only really realistically have one shape and one pair. Technically, my 1, 3 bamboo can work as a shape as well, and by shape I mean potential set of 3. But if I use my bamboo as a potential set of 3, I lose my pair. So my hand, all in all, is not in a very good spot. But because I called the white dragon, I chose to call the 1, 2, 3. I chose to call that 3-pin to make the 1, 2, 3 sequence because it does progress my hand a little bit forward. A 1, 2, 2 pin shape in my hand doesn't really mean anything. Calling this, dropping in the 2-pin, means equally as much to if someone dropped a 2-pin, for example, and I called that and dropped the 1-pin. The difference being calling the 2-pin as a pon and dropping the 1-pin would allow my shape to potentially become what's known as toy, all triplets, which is worth 2 han. So it's worth points for doing such a thing. But it's harder because I only have up to 2 pairs in my hand. The 2-pin, or had 2 pins and 1 bamboo. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tiles that aren't pairs.
Yeah, but you only have 1 though in your hand right now.
Yeah, I only have 1 pair now. So that's kind of why I went for the sequence. It's faster. It's literally right there. I might as well call it, is my thought process, if I'm going for a fast hand here. So by calling this, I can now drop the 2. And the reason I dropped the 2 and not the 5, even though they're both isolated, is because I can work with the 5 a bit easier with 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, 7. Versus the 2, which is 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. It's just those are the only things I can work with my 2. The 5, I can go left and right fully with it.
What is this?
So that's why I prefer to keep my 5s. That's why the 5s are usually more needed. For example, you just called the 1 mon here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, remember what I said, when you called a terminal tile, not many hands will accept it. One certain hand would be a toy, for example, with all triplets. Another would be having a hand that everything in there contains a terminal somewhere, or even terminal and honor. So which means you're either looking for an all pair hand, an all triplets hand here. So you need a lot more triplets in your hands. I can see you don't really have that. Or you're looking for all your blocks having some sort of terminal in there. So that means you can't have the 5s, the 6, the 4, 5, 6s must leave your hand. It means you can't use them. If you're going for like the 6, 7, 8, unfortunately it won't work because you're missing a terminal tile. If you're going for an all terminal tile hand. You could go for what's known as a full flush or half flush, which is since you called mon tiles, if your entire hand is just mon tiles or mon tiles and terminals and honors, not terminals, sorry, mon tiles and honors, that's known as a half flush. So, because you dropped the 9 bamboo, you dropped a terminal tile. So it might be easier to simply just go for a half flush, full flush, or bank on drawing some sort of honor yaku. An honor yaku would be your seat wind, which is the west wind, the round wind, which is the east wind, or any other dragons. Unfortunately for you, the white dragon's already called. I called the white dragon, so there's no more left. So that's effectively a dead tile.
Yeah. Okay.
And dead tiles are normally tiles that I like to throw out quickly if I'm pushing a hand quickly, or I keep around for a little bit and judge things for myself and see is someone else going fast, or do I think someone's going to call Riichii? Do I need to play defensively? That the white dragon of all tiles is a dead tile. 99% of the time, no one wants it at this point. The rare time someone wants it would be if they're going for what's known as a Yakuman, 13 orphans. And it has to be a single tile wait. So that's the only time that'll ever happen, but it's so rare that I just don't think about it as a possibility. So if you think, yeah, exactly. If you think that you need to play defensively here, keeping the white dragon is no problem. But if you try to push your hand at this point, then the white dragon should come out almost immediately after I called the white dragon. It would be the thought process there. But yeah, so now the AI has now dropped a 1 bamboo, and my hand, hey Alpha Star, has 2 1 bamboos. I can call Pong here, which I will actually. And now, this means I got rid of my last pair of my hand. I'm okay with that. And now I'm gonna actually drop the 6 mon. So the reason I dropped the 6 mon here in my hand is because I have a very close potential sequence mon tiles. And so if I draw any support for the 6 mon, for example a 5 mon or 4 mon, I would just use it to build up my hand on my mon tile side that I already have. If I draw a 4 mon, for example, then I have a pair. If I draw a 5 mon, this makes a 3-4-5 sequence. I can forget about the 6. Now, it's actually nicer to have that 6 if I do think about 3-4-5-6, and then I can just wait on 3-6. It'd be a 2-sided wait. The reason why I actually discard the 6 mon is because I plan on getting rid of the 5, and the 5 is nicer in a sense to work with, and it's a 5 pin anyways. So, like, I don't mind working with it, like that. But the big reason is because I'm expecting to drop all my pins and just wait on the Dora 3 bamboo. Because the 3 bamboo, because it is that Dora tile with the Dora indicator up to, you can see on the wall flipped open. So the 3 bamboo is worth more points. So in a sense, I'm greeding for points here, essentially is what's happening. If I win a hand with a pair of Dora, my hand goes from dealer, white dragon, 1 han, which would only net me 1,500 points, to potentially white dragon double Dora. So that's 3 han. 3 han. With this way, I think it would be 5,800 points. It should be, if my math is right. I'm not really good at counting math, but it's a lot more points, essentially. So that's why I want to greed for it. Well, okay. Likewise, it's harder to get that win. Alright, you do support for the 5 pin. So I would drop... Honestly, I would drop 6 bamboo here.
6? My
reasoning for that, because the 3 pin you can work with, but I don't want to get rid of the Dora 5 pin just yet, because if you happen to find some sort of alternative that you can work with for this hand, then and that opens up the chance of you using that 5 pin, then you've earned yourself extra points. But otherwise, you'll have to discard that 5 pin later anyways. But I feel that the 6 pin can go for the time being, or 6 bamboo can go for the time being with your hand. It's hard to say, because after calling that one mon, your hand is in a bit of a pickle, honestly. Since you don't have any easy outs, you have to mold your hand into something. And I kind of see what that something could be. It's gonna be very, very difficult. But as you can see in your hand right now, you have the 3/4 bamboo, the 3/5 pin now, and the 3 mon. Potentially, you could go and get what's known as a mixed triple sequence. Sanshoku is what people normally call that. The mixed triple sequence is basically having 3 of the same sequences across 3 different suits. So the mon, pin, bamboo. By doing that, your hand can be whatever shape it wants.
Oh, so free, and free?
So 3, 4, 5 is the sequence you're after at this point. And that's because you have 3/4 bamboo, 3/5 pin. So that kind of, if you want to use these tiles as they are in your hand, it kind of locks you into the 3/4/5 sequence. That does mean you'll have to get rid of the 6, 7, 8 sequence later. But the nice thing about the 3/4, the mixed triple sequence there. Hey, XSL. Teaching. We're just having fun. But the thing about the mixed triple sequence is that you're allowed to win with an open hand with the mixed triple sequence. And you already called a block of 3, and the mixed triple sequence is a win condition that requires you to utilize 3 blocks of 3. And remember, your winning hand only has can only have 4 blocks of 3. So you already used 1, and the mixed triple sequence is a win condition that uses up 3 blocks of 3. So 9 tiles. Which means, with your current hand shape, that 6, 7, 8 you must get rid of. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I had to get rid of these 3?
Those 3. Eventually. No rush. I'm just providing you a potential block of win condition. Yes.
Okay.
You're going to be in like a group match soon or something? I saw.
Yeah, it's a group one.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, it's only a pause. I'm gonna just pop this out and share this on my screen, on my stream as well. Hide. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just gonna grab this for my stream so my stream can also so really know what I'm talking about. I'm not going crazy, guys. Don't worry. Discord screen share. There it is. Okay. So that's my buddy's my friend's screen right there. And you can see their hand. Just stay across the table from me. I should probably screen cut. Crazy. What do you mean I'm crazy?
Crazy.
I'm not crazy.
Hi, Rockman.
You know what? You think of a better win condition with that hand, huh? I'm just gonna crop only your hand, so let's get rid of like Itsu? Itsu? Which suit? Which suit for Itsu? Excuse you. So Itsu being a straight. But honestly, I don't even know which suit to go Itsu with. It's not easy at all. Let me. Let's see. I want to. Excuse me as I transform this to flip horizontally. Oh, that looks really bad. That's okay. There we go. Oh, it looks so weird on stream. That's okay. That's alright. It gets the message across, I think. Oh, alright. I dropped the green dragon because it doesn't do anything in my hand. I already dropped 1. Okay. Better. Hey, Nico! There's 2 Tsubasas, yes.
Hmm.
So with your hand here, oh, you drop you drew the 2.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, at this point, I get rid of one of your 8s, your 8 bamboos, and it's because it can't work as your pair. Remember, if you're going with your hold on. If we're aiming for Sanshoku, you can use as your pair, but the 6, 7, 8 has to go. So you can probably just drop the 6 in case you draw that 9. I keep going because I keep thinking about what's known as Junchan or Chanta, like full outside hand or half outside hand is the name of those, which is just having terminals and honors in your hand. It's something we'll have to work towards. There's no way they're getting full flush. Not with the hand like that. They already took 3 of the 1-mons. That means they have to get all 4 1-mons. Do you understand how daunting of a task that is? Do you understand? I know you believe. Full flush? Oh, right, not E2. It's... I've been thinking about full flush too, but like... How likely would that be? They have to get rid of 6 tiles, right? A potential Sanshoku means that out of the current setup, they only had to discard up to 3 with the perfect draws. And they can still call for Sanshoku too. Right? Like for me, my opinion, the biggest out here would still be Sanshoku. If he draws more Mon tiles and potentially completes the full flush, that'd be amazing. And I'd make the wrong call there. But for me personally, it's all about the chance of the outs, and Sanshoku allows for you to call from 3 suits versus Mon tiles, which is a single suit. That's my reasoning, anyways, right? I value being able to flex multiple suits over the 1 suit. I could be wrong. Don't get me wrong. Like, I could be very off on my thought process here, but that's just my mentality for how I would play the match, right? As it stands, full flush, at least to me, seems a bit further away. In this case, for my hand, you're going with your feel. He's getting more mons. That's fair. We'll see. I'm gonna drop the pin I just drew, and that's because I'm greeting for Mon. Alright, you drew a 1. How many 2 pins are left in? You can, from your perspective, you see 3 2 pins on the board already. There's 2 in the discard pools,
and
then
yours.
I called 1, and then one in my open sequence.
There's only 1 left.
So there's 1 left, which means personally I wouldn't attempt to get a 1 2 3 sequence here. Like, the logic of keeping the 1 pin would be to go for the 1 2 3. Of course,
Riichii.
the AI goes for the Riichii call. Perfect. Now I get to talk to you about defensive play. So, yeah. So if the 2 pins were more alive than it is currently, where as you can see, there's only 1 left. If there was more, very positive for you to keep that 1 pin, go for the 1 2 3, and start gearing your hand to what's known as a Junchan, a full outside hand. So you're looking for the 9-mon, the 1-mon, dropping the 4 bamboo, the 8 bamboos, the 5 pin, and going for just only sequences and triplets that have terminal tiles in them. Likewise, you're looking for a terminal pair as well. I would start going that route if I had the 1, 2, 3 pin sequence. That's something to keep in mind. That's a way to flex your hand towards a new path. And granted, these are my thought processes only because you called the one mon there. Because calling that one mon definitely restricts your hand a lot more. If you happen to have a pair of the west winds or a pair of the east winds, the white dragons, pair of some other dragons, you could have went for an easy, quick hand. You call the one mon, you call your dragon or wind that gives you a win condition, and your hand can be whatever you feel like it. It doesn't matter what it would be. So it's all about knowing a win condition and playing towards it. So, but because you call the one mon pair in this case, you restrict your win conditions by quite a bit. So you have to start thinking about how you're going to flex your hand towards that position. But in the case where a player calls Riichii here, like the AI did, and you see your hand, it's kind of hard, a little bit hard to work with, or you're not really feeling a win. Think about going full defensive here. So I know some players will still try to push their luck and say, oh, I'm just going to push my hand anyways. I wouldn't, for example, I would start by dropping the 4 bamboo or whatever other tiles you know is safe. For me, I don't have a single, no, I do. I have that 4 mon that the AI dropped. But I see that they dropped a 3 pin. In fact, they dropped 2. I called one of them. So I think to myself, okay, 3 pin. There's Suji, which is 3/6. So using the logic of Suji, 6 pin is potentially safe. Now there's something called long Suji, so it extends all the way to 9 pin as well. Because 3, 6, and 9 is the trio there. Now, the long Suji normally doesn't hold out, defensively speaking, and that's because just because they're not waiting on a 3, 6 does not mean they're not waiting on a 6, 9. It's very possible they're waiting on a 6, 9. What long Suji denies is the 3-sided way of 3, 6, 9. 3, 6, 9 doesn't work. 3, 6 doesn't work because the 3 is a common denominator, but 6, 9 still works. So while long Suji is sometimes what people count on for a safe discard, I find that fairly often it doesn't work and acts more like a Suji trap in that sense. I'm gonna throw out the 9 pin anyways, and it is safe. Like for your hand here, the 3 pin is safe, the 4 and the 4 bamboo is safe. You have options to play full defense or Genbutsu, just full def, and just play tiles you know the person in Riichii can't win off of. Sometimes you don't have safe tiles like those, so you start having to kind of rely on game sense and try to figure out would they wait on that. And sometimes you're off the mark. There's not much you can help it in cases like those, honestly. So this is up to you. You could, for example, in a more competitive setting, I just bail at this point. I say, I'm not winning this hand and move on. The thing about your hand too is that you're not a dealer, so you're not going to be getting any bonus points for winning your hand. So if your hand isn't worth many points, it's usually not worth to fight a Riichii because Riichii unlocks potential for more points. The Riichii in itself is points. There hasn't been a call, so they're currently in Ippatsu. Ippatsu being that you win before a second call or your next draw after you called Riichii. Calling Riichii and winning unlocks what's known as the Uradora, and dropping the 8 pin, very brave. There was no indication that 8 pin was safe. But that's fine.
Mean, there's like already 2 of them down though.
Right, but then that doesn't really mean anything because they could be on a 5-8 weight. They could have the 6-7 sequence in their hand. So, just because 2 came out doesn't mean they're not waiting on it. As long as one of those tiles are alive, they could be waiting on it. very easily, because they could have a 7-9 in their hand. Well, 9 not likely since 3 are out, but they could because there's one more left. They could be on a 6 or 5-8 weight. 5-8 is fairly likely because they see, oh, even though there's 2 8s out, there's still 4 5 pins hidden and 2 8 pins left. So stuff like that is something you have to think about. It's all about thinking about specifically the opponent who is calling Riichii. What is their hand shape looking like? Obviously, it's not the case for this AI. Okay. And so we know 9-mon is safe, and now the opponent's call Riichii on the 9-mon. In this case, it is very dangerous all around to do anything. And instead of you could try calling cheap, but I would pass. Personally, I would pass. You can still try calling if you want. If you do call it, it means you're trying to push your hand, which is a very interesting choice when you're up against 2 Riichii calls. Each Riichii call increases the danger by quite a bit. So by calling it more and more like that, you think that you're in position to actually push your hand quickly, or it's worth it. If you think your hand is worth it and you somehow pass all the risks and get your hand, then yeah, you did it. And is it worth the point? Sometimes a lot of players will gauge how many points they're going to be getting off their hand. I really don't see you getting that many points off your hand, but that's just me.
Okay. Got a 5. Would this be a parallel?
The 3-pin here is a trick. It could be potentially safe. But the problem is the second person is called Riichii as well, so you know they're ready to win, and you don't know what their weight is. You don't know what's safe, because just because 3-pin is safe against one AI, it's not safe against the other AI, which is a problem. Of all the tiles here, the 4 bamboo is the safest in my eyes, because it's Genbu against one AI, it's Tsuji against the other AI. So, chances are 4 bamboo is the safest. Chances are, but no guarantees. It's half Tsuji. That's true. It's only half because of the and because they could be waiting on the 4-7. Half Tsuji being that the 1 bamboo. One bamboo denies the 1-4, does not deny the 1-4, or does not deny the 4-7. So at this point, it's all on gut feeling because your hand lacks a certain safe tile. So that one's safe. We know 4-pin is safe. South, I already know is safe. And this is what's known as an Ippatsumo. When you call Riichii, and then you win instantly. So this was a 5-8 weight.
Oh, that's the whole point. Oh, that's very far.
Okay. The 6 discard there. I would have dropped the West. So, with your hand there, West is meaningless to you. Riichii Patsumen Tampin. Yeah, it's as classic of a hand as you can get, honestly. But with your hand here, the West doesn't do anything. I would have dropped it first.
Okay.
The 6. You know people keep the 6 because it's very close to the middle, and you can always, and the middle tiles are like the tiles that are coveted the most for being able to work with the most number of tiles. So in this case, 6-mon, probably not the drop you're looking for, but in this case, very possible to go for a half flush. So because you dropped the 6-mon, I would personally go for a half flush or full flush. So I would drop the 1-3 mon, the 4-9 pin, and just go for nothing but bamboo tiles and or honor tiles. So if you want to keep the west, the white dragon, I mean, if you can make the white dragon work, that's already worth it, because the white dragon is 1 Han, and then the white dragons are Doras. So each one is worth an additional Han. So with 3 white dragons is 4 Han right there. Plus, if you go for a half flush, an open half flush is 2 Han. So that's 6 Han right there. That's a Hanemon, which is worth more than an open full flush. So that's specifically in the case of a Dora dragon, though, or a Dora Yaku in this case. And then if you want to look at my hand here, I have a pair of 1, 5, 4, 5, 7, 9, 1, 5, 6, 8, 8, 3, West green. Personally, I drop West here. Looks like it was the Door Dragon first drop, and I got the 7 pin. You can drop the West here, that's fine. So I drew Dragon Dora. Would I agree to try to get another one? Very possible. There's no real downside to this aside from someone else drawing a pair and then getting to call it. Yeah, I would keep it. Drop the 1 pin. 1 pin was a stranded tile standalone. Here, I wouldn't call it, and that's because you have a 7, 8, 9 sequence. So the 7, 8, 9 sequence means it's terminal. So yeah, I'll drop that. And the 1, yeah, that's a fine drop. That's perfectly okay. Oh, come on. Talk about drawing not so useful tiles. Okay, so you don't drop your 3 now. You have a triple of 3.
Okay, drop the 4.
Yeah, 4 pin. So now you're not thinking of full flush anymore, or half flush even. You have a triple. You have a block of 3 mons, which is great. That's already done. 7, 9 can be potentially what you're looking.
I need 8 though.
Looking for another block. So you actually have a pair. Do you see your pair in your hand?
Yeah, I see my pair. 7, 8,
so
9, and free.
No, not the blocks. Your pair. Which is your pair in your hand?
My free?
No, that's your seat. That's a block. That's a block of 3. You're looking. I'm talking about your pair.
So 7, 8, 9.
No, that's another block of 3. Your pair.
Oh, meaning my 5?
Yes. So while your 5, your 3, 4, 5 is actually another block of 3. What ends up happening here, because you have another 5, you have 2 5s. You have flexible options here. Meaning, I would drop the white dragon later if you can build on your hand a bit more. So what I mean by flexible is that your 3, 4, 5, 5 can be a 3, 4, 5, and then you wait on the 5 bamboo, but you can also actually wait on the 2 bamboo. Like you have a 2, 5 wait here. The reason for that is because you have a pair of 5 bamboo, which ends up leaving your 3, 4 together. So that means it's looking to complete a sequence there. You can complete the sequence of 3, 4 with a 2 or a 5. So it's actually a 2, 5 wait there.
So when
you said earlier your 3s was a pair, I'll probably drop the white dragon honestly later. And again, only if you continue to improve your hand. And by improve, I mean you get a tile that helps progress one of your sequences. Now, your 3 mon can technically also be a pair by just dropping one of the 3 mons. So you demote it from a set of a block of 3 to just a pair. But you would do that in certain cases where, for example, the 5 your bamboo sequences, maybe you draw like a 6 bamboo or 4 bamboo, and you had a 7, 8, 9 pin already. So you didn't have the white dragon, and you had 7, 8, 9 pin, for example. Like for example, if you draw an 8 pin next turn, or 6 or 4 bamboo next turn, and you drop your white dragon first, chances are you're probably not going to get the second one. Or if you do draw the second one, think about it at that point. But as it stands, pretend you're not going to draw it, or imagine you're not drawing the white dragon. You draw something else. You drop the white dragon, so your hand will have more options in this case. You can potentially drop the 3 mons to turn into a pair, and then go for more sequences in your hand if you draw some support for another sequence. Whether or not you draw the 8 pin to complete the 7, 8, 9, or you have a 6 pin, or sorry, not a pin, 6 bamboo, 4 bamboo, and then another 3 or 7 bamboo to just continuously improve your hand there. So by knowing which tiles you're looking for, you can start flexing it. And all these number tiles gives you options versus just the white dragon. The white dragon is a standalone, which makes it hard to work with. So for me, I'm just going to drop this tile here, because it's hard for me to work with that tile. So for me, I could have called the 6 mon, but I'm not going to do it. I don't want to open my hand, because that limits what my hand can be, and my hand is already very limiting as is. So I wouldn't call, because your hand is same situation, would be very limited. Just move past and move on. Red Dragon's a fine drop here. There's already 2 open, so it's not possible to get the Red Dragon Yaku. So the best option is just to move on. So for me, I progress my hand here a little bit. I finish a 7, 8, 9 mon sequence. So I would drop... If I want to drop a dragon, at this point, I'll drop it here. Yeah, and this is the RNG aspect of Mahjong. Sometimes you just draw nothing, no tiles that progresses your hand over several turns. I dropped the green dragon here. I'm assuming someone's gonna call it, and no one did. By this point, usually people call. Okay, so, okay. 2 things. 1, you drew a tile that progresses your hand. 6 bamboo works well with the 5. 2, exactly, the white dragon is safe against the person who just called Riichii. So you just drop here, I drop the white dragon here. It's no problem. Three is risky. Luckily, they didn't need it. Okay, they're waiting on a 9-6. Wow. AI on AI bullying.
They're bullying each other.
In this hand, call it. Call it.
Really?
Yeah, call it for the 7, 8. Actually, just hit chi and it'll give you 2 options. Either or is fine. Your hand is perfect as is. You can choose either or. And the reason for that is because your hand is almost done actually. So you can drop the mon and bamboo tiles. So you can choose which one to drop first. You're going for either a half flush or a full flush hand here. You're very close. Not your honors. Keep your honors. You'll drop them later if you draw a lot more pin tiles. But for the time being, drop the bamboos and mon tiles. You're going for a flush. Yeah, so that's fine. You're not actually gonna want to drop that 1 pin, by the way. And the reason for that is because you're looking to play a full pin hand here. You had, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6. You had 7 pin tiles, 3 honor tiles. So 10 of your 13 tiles plays into a win condition known as half flush. And then if you keep drawing nothing but pin tiles, you can even eventually drop your honor tiles to play into an even bigger hand. It's a full flush hand. So here, you got the option to call it. Don't. If you do, your hand is suddenly locked into something really hard to work with. So, because the plan here is you're also going to be discarding the Naimons. You're not going to be keeping them either. Yeah, just discard it. So with a hand like this, it's fine to just keep discarding those tiles that you're coming in with. It's very likely for you to get a full flush hand, like fairly likely. So personally, I would go for it.
I see.
It makes the most sense to me. And you're drawing these, yeah. It's the difficulty of full flush is that you're foregoing 2 suits, but usually it's pretty worth it.
If I kept it in my hand, could I go for 3-4-5 though?
3-4-5. After opening your hand, no, unless you manage to call like the East Wind or White Dragon. You could potentially go for like a 1-2-3, but okay. Now I start dropping my 9s. Even though your honors are currently single tiles, they can potentially become a pair. They can potentially become a triplet. They are potentially useful for your hand. So, yeah, perfect. You drew a very, very nice pin tile for your hand. So now you're just looking to call a bit. Perfect. You drew a pair. You can start dishing out your honor tiles you don't like. West you don't like. North you don't like. Those are tiles. Those are wind tiles that mean nothing to your current position because you're not in those seats. The one up to you actually. If you want to call it, you can actually call it here, and then drop the north. That's up to you.
Would do
because
anything?
you can
No
work
or
with,
yes?
You could call it and progress your hand in one direction, or you could wait and just continue keeping the one pin as your pair. But either or is not wrong.
Let's see.
I dropped the north. It doesn't do anything for your hand. Oh my god. Lovely. Yep. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. All this stuff is one more pin. Call chi, and drop the white dragon. Drop the white dragon. Yep, you're on a 2-sided weight, 4-7, and one side's a Dora. Either way, it's a flush Dora, which is Hanuman, or full flush double Dora, still a Hanuman. 6 Han or 7 Han, both are Hanuman. So if you win, you get 12,000 points here. Ooh.
Can go 2 ways.
Yeah, this is all in gut feeling at this point. How do you feel about the hand? Do you want to continue waiting on the 4-7, or do you want to switch over to the 3-6? It's all about gut feeling. There it is. Run. Big win. Big win. An open full flush is 5 Han, and 1 Dora bumps up to 6 Han, which is Hanuman. Hanuman is 6-7 Han, so no matter no matter which side you win it on, Hanuman no matter what. And ooh, okay. Personally, I start with the honor drop. The honor drop makes sense. The south, because it's not your wind. It's not Yaku, or Yakuha as it's known as. So it doesn't really do much in your hand. And you already have other tiles that can work as a pair. Usually that's what people think about when it comes to non-Yakuhai tiles. Could it be a pair? Usually. Some people think about them in many interesting ways, but
Again?
yep, again, it happens sometimes, but if you think about it, it's not as useful. Because it won't net you more points. That's the biggest thing. Just because you have it doesn't mean.
So I need north? Instead?
East.
Oh, east, okay.
So east, what is known as double tone. It's because it's your seat wind and also the round wind. So a triplet of east will give you 2 han off the bat. So here, my suggestions would be that or 2 bamboo or 8 bamboo. And the reason for that is because the 2 8 bamboo is actually off tiles since you have a 4-5-6 sequence. I personally wouldn't be trying to complete anything else there, but you could. I'm not saying you won't, you can't. I'm saying I wouldn't. The 3 pin, also a candidate for discard because it's alone. And the green dragon hasn't come out yet. So it's possible you'll draw green dragons yourself. And then you get Yakuhai. And as a dealer, Yakuhai is great. Not to mention you have 2 Dora tiles in your hand. So it's possible for a Yakuhai Dora, 3 Han, dealer 3 Han, I'm assuming 30 fu, 40 fu? I don't even know how you count fus. Potential 5,800 points. Easy. Is all I can say there. Okay. Well, after you do the north, I would have thrown the north out first because more tiles can work with 3 pin than
True.
can work
There's
with
already
north.
2 of them out.
2 of them are gone. So you gotta be a bit more careful about what to discard. Always base it off your entire hand, including what you draw. You don't want to be preemptively discarding certain tiles. I've had situations where I draw the tile I want to discard, which makes it so it's a bit hard to. Which means that whatever I drew is support for the tile I want to discard. So then suddenly I have to waste 2 turns. So it goes back to what's efficient. 3 pin is more efficient than north because north can only be a maximum of a pair in this case, but you already have other tiles that can be your pair. So north is practically trash in this scenario. Whereas 3 pin has a lot of support it could potentially get. I wouldn't call. It doesn't make sense to. Your hand is working well. The 2 bamboo comes back, but I would get rid of the north first. Just not that useful. And I'm just getting rid of my edge tiles. I don't need them at all right now. And look, you suddenly drew support for your 2 bamboo. And yeah, feel free to drop the green dragon in this case.
Yeah, I got 2 pairs.
You have 2 pairs. You could actually wait on that, by the way. If you drop the 4 eventually, like say you found a 8 mon, you can drop the 4 mon, and then you draw more support on your bamboo side, like a 1-4-7 bamboo. You can drop the 8 bamboo, and then you're just waiting on the 3 mon or 9 pin. That's a champon on as a 2-sided pair weight. You want to turn one of your pairs into a triplet. That's the weight. And in this case, that's the one I would go for because one of the 2-sided weights is the Dora tile, the 3 mon. So you could potentially turn this into a Riichii, Dora-san. And then if you call Riichii, you unlock the Ura, the hidden Dora, which can bump up your points potentially even more. So there's a lot of benefits that comes out of Riichii, but obviously the downside being that it's harder for you to win off another player when you call Riichii. Okay, you drew another pair. In which case, I drop the nines. And the reason for that is because if you get rid of your nines here, you don't have any more terminals. You turn your hand into what's known as an all simple hand, and that is worth 1 yaku, 1 han. So that is worth points. By having no terminals and no honors in your hand, that is worth points. So, and because you don't need the 9 pins, obviously each is, oh my god, I have another 1 bamboo. But yeah, pass. If there was going to be a tile you would want, and you see this is where the 3 pin would have come in clutch, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. In this case, I mean. Alright, 7's an iffy draw. Yeah, that's fine. The 4 or 7. I don't really know how to efficiently play off that hand, personally. It'd have to be completely off of feel as well. Okay, drop the 7. Easy. Thanatos, no. Stop. No cursing's allowed. Don't worry about it.
This is confusing hand now.
Okay. Yes, you're right. It's a little bit confusing. I would drop the 2 bamboo, and the reason for that is because this makes your 4th pair. And then in which case you can actually start calling. So if someone drops the 6 bamboo, the 8 bamboo, the 3/4 mon, you can start calling them freely. You'll probably want to drop either the 6/7 mon, or if you want to wait on the 5 or 8 from another player, you can drop one of your pairs. In this board state, I'd probably drop the 8 bamboos. If no one drops it, and like if I can't call 8 bamboos, if I call 3, 4, or 6 bamboo, 3/4 mon or 6 bamboo, I drop the 8 bamboo. If someone drops 8 bamboo, then I'll probably drop 4 mon or 6 bamboo. It doesn't matter. It's just because it's a bit easier and nicer to wait on a 2-sided part of a sequence rather than a champ on a couple pairs, in my experience. But again, it's up to the player and how they're feeling. I would wait. So what you can do here is call cheat and drop the 8 bamboo.
Should I or not?
It's again, these are all up to you, because you don't break any real potential for your hand by calling it this way. You still have the win condition of a Tanyao, an all simple hand, which means you're fine. And this slightly progresses your hand forward, slightly. So it's a plus in your book, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And again, it's up to you. You'll have to drop the 8. Drop those. Okay, you can drop the 7. So 7 mon. And what ends up happening is that you're now 1 away from what's known as a 7 pair hand. So that's also a win condition, right? 7 pairs. Or you can go for a combo condition or a multiple win condition. So this one in this case is all triplets, all simple. So no terminals, no honors, and you're doing nothing but triplets. So by just constantly calling, you can do it that way. Or you can just go for an all simple hand and make calls, like call 6, just keep calling and just drop one of your pairs, and you'll be there soon as well. So this is an avenue up to you. Do you want to greed? Go for an all triple hand. You'll have to drop your 3, 4, 5 sequence for that from your bamboo side. But you can, if you call that, your hand will be worth more. A lot of players in the dealer position probably won't go for that because they want to have a higher chance of winning. And the higher chance of winning does come from doing quick calls, and you don't want to go backwards. You have a triplet, you have a block of 3. You don't want to get rid of that. But in order to get the all triple win condition, you'll have to get rid of it. That's the thing. 5-pin, yeah, drop. Unfortunately, you could have used it earlier if you didn't drop that 3-pin, but that's how it is. That's how the game is. Sometimes I sometimes drop tiles by accident too. Hugs. You want free hugs? Do I have hug emotes? I have a couple. There you go. A sequence of free hugs. Okay. At this point, you're hoping to call because
Call Riichii.
you're not in. Yeah, this is Riichii, but it's very close to the end of the round. If you're not in a ready-to-win position known as Tenpai, you will lose your dealership if we enter exhaust. So what you're looking for is to call tiles and then discard tiles to get yourself into Tenpai. And the way I would do this against that Riichii call with your current hand state is call and drop the 8 bamboos, because I'm thinking 8 bamboo is safe because they dropped the 5 bamboos.
Chi?
I'm gonna call because again, there's not many draws left. I need to do something with my hand.
Noted tile.
Unfortunate. So I managed after 2 calls to enter Tenpai. And since we entered exhaust, I get points off of players that are not in Tenpai. If you haven't, so because you didn't enter Tenpai and you were a dealer, it moves on to the next player. Notice, however, top left corner, the indicator for Riichii stick and Honba, the extra points are still there, and that's because when the dealership enters no 10, so no Tenpai, when they're not ready to win by the end of the round, it will automatically shift to the next dealer while keeping all that bonus points on the table still. It doesn't get removed. Okay, so your hand is very, very nice. I would probably drop something like the 9-pin, personally. Because whatever works with your 9-pin, whatever support it gets that's not itself, works with the 6-pin. So in my head, I dropped the 9-pin. That's the logic there. West. Not too useful for you, who's sitting at north. South, not too useful either, unfortunately. If this was Southwind, it'd be alright to keep that and drop something else. The something else probably being the 2 bamboo, probably. Technically, the 8 bamboo is also a fine drop because you already have the 5-6. I wouldn't call here. Their mon sequence is already pretty much done. I would drop one of the dragon tiles or maybe the 8 bamboo. Up to you. Or the 6-pin. That's a bit of a rough one since 6 being a middle tile means that you have potential to work with it if you draw some support later. Whereas your bamboo side, your 5, 6, 8, for example, the 8 is hard to use because whatever is going to help the 8 probably is going to help the 5, 6. There's only 2 tiles that won't, and that's the 8 bamboo itself or the 9 bamboo. But if you draw 7 bamboo, for example, it helps out your 5, 7 already, your 5, 6 already. So generally, you might want to discard that. or one of your dragon tiles. For me, the white dragon's already gone. Like, I can't make a triplet out of the white dragon because 2 are out. I would personally discard that. Just how I would play it. Yep. And okay, so now notice how your hand has 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9 mon tiles. If you draw the 5 or 6, you could go for what's known as a straight, an itsu. By having a 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 in your of one specific suit in your hand, that becomes a yaku. That becomes a win condition. So the rest of your hand can be whatever it wants. So itsu takes up 3 blocks of 3. So you still have 1 block of 3 and a pair to work with. That 1 block of 3 and that pair can be whatever you want it to be if you have the itsu. All right. Saying goodbye to a friend. 5. No. Unless you had the 6-mon, because to make the sequence work, 5 works only in a 4, 5, 6. 5 doesn't work anywhere else, unfortunately. You could drop the red dragon, you could drop bamboo tiles. Because I see those as like, while they're potential for sequences, your bamboo tiles are not really working the way you want them to. You could drop either the 8-9 or the 1-2. A pair of 1, that might change your game plan a little bit, because now you can think about it like this. You have a pair, you have 2 blocks of 3, you have 3 potential sequences. Now you can think about breaking one of the potential sequences in your bamboo side, whether you want to break the 1-2 or the 8-9. I wouldn't break the 5-6 because the 5-6 works on 2 ends, the 4-7, whereas the 1-2 only works with the 3, and the 8-7 only works with the 7. Or sorry, 8-9 only works with the 7. So, that just makes it harder overall, since there's only one option versus the 2. Now you have another pair. Yep, drop the 2. And what you can do here would be a wait on the 9 bamboo and the 1 mon if you draw a 4 or 7 bamboo here. Or, scratch that. If you draw the 7 bamboo, I would draw and wait on the 4-7. So notice how if you draw the 7 bamboo, you complete the sequence 7, 8, 9. Drop the 9 bamboo, suddenly your 5-6 needs 1 more tile to help out, which is the 4-7. So that's actually kind of nice if you manage to get that. I would drop the 9 here, 9 bamboo. No, not the 9 mon. Your mons are pretty secure. You don't want to be dropping those yet. Dropping 1, and only 1. And that's because the 8 bamboos are easier to work with, in my opinion. But if you drop the 7 bamboo, you'll be dropping you'll have to drop the 8 bamboo, but you will have dropped either or anyways after the fact. So that really doesn't change anything to your hand. 3. Okay, so unfortunately the wrong call was made. We didn't keep the 1-2, which would have made 1, 2, 3. So I just dropped 3 here. 3 doesn't do anything. In fact, it's more detrimental to try to reforce a hand that you threw out, because if you cannot wait on tiles that you've discarded unless you draw it yourself. So if you, for example, kept the 3 bamboo and drew a 2 bamboo again, and then you call Riichii, let's say you had a ready hand after doing that, and if you call Riichii, or you're ready to win, if your hand is ready to win, but one of the win condition, one of the tiles that you can win on, is in your discard pool, you enter a state known as Furiten. Furiten means that you can no longer win off an opponent, you can only win by self-drawing. So that's why for a lot of players, they do their best to avoid Furiten whenever possible. In my case, I drew a very nice hand, so I'm gonna call Riichii here. How many 7s are there? Ooh, 8, okay. Again, I would say for the most part, your hand is fairly locked for the mon tiles. I would think about how you want to carve up your bamboo tiles and see what you want to discard. In this case, probably the 9. You've seen the 7 come out only once so far? Up to you. 7 or the 8 or the 9 bamboo. Either or is fine. In fact, I might eventually drop the 8s, just because you know the 8 bamboos are safe. But I would call it because you still want the 8 for your sequence in your Montile side. So I'd be hesitant to call and break that up. In fact, opening up your hand here, I would say is generally a bad idea. Yep, 9 is safe. That's a good discard. Oh, someone else calls Riichii, so you gotta start thinking again. Oh, and I self-draw my win. Only a Hanuman. Okay. So you can see there from my hand, got a lot of points off of the Dora tile. So my hand wasn't actually Hanuman, but because of all the extra points from the Dora, it became a Hanuman. Oh, your hand is rough, I'm not gonna lie. The 2 Dora tiles are nice. The 6-mon there. But otherwise, it's fairly rough. You have to think about cutting out, like, personally for me, I would cut out the honors first. So stuff that you can't use. In this case, east, because we're now in south wind, so the round wind is now south, not east anymore. So south can work, your west seat, so west can work, but east and north are tiles that you can think about cutting. Early on, I mean. Likewise, I'm going to cut north here. Yep, there's nothing wrong with the 9 bamboo discard either. It being a stranded terminal tile means it'll be difficult to work with down the road. So those are all equal candidates for discard. Alright, what would you discard here? Yep, that is perfectly fine. And I shall take it, since I am east wind. I'm sitting on, I'm east seat. So I shall take that, because it is my seat wind. So, north is probably the better one to discard, honestly. And that's because north doesn't do anything for you, whereas south maybe could have done something. As south is the round wind. So here, up to you. Think about what works with your hand, what doesn't. That's perfectly fine. Okay, that's your seat wind gone. That's fine as well. To the south again. Yeah, that's where you went. You could have thought about keeping the south being the round wind. You could use that and it would unlock a Yaku for you, because it would be a Yaku high, the round wind Yaku high. Okay, that was pretty decent. You could have definitely thought about taking that 7-mon to make 6, 7, 8, and then start dropping your 1, 2. But you drew the 4, 5, 6, so that's even better. That's even better. I would pass. You passed it the first time, there's no reason to continue to do that. And then you have the 1, 2, 3 bamboo sequence. You can drop the 3 bamboo. You have that sequence there. That block is pretty much locked for you.
Come.
So now if you draw... Not that. Okay, you can drop that too. So if you draw 3 pin, for example, you'd be 1 away with this type of hand, which is honestly not that bad. Your hand went from something that was really hard to use to something that's looking pretty good. Alright. So as you can see, I just won a very small, quick hand. I had no extra points, it was just my dealership, plus nothing. It was just my dealership. Or it was just my seat win, that's it. That's all it was. That's why seat wind, ground wind, and dragons are generally pretty important. Here I would drop the north or the east, either or works. And that, again, is because they don't really work with anything besides itself, and they don't give you any sort of benefit for your current position. North, probably. Honestly, like, I think it's a good habit to get into discarding honor tiles that you're not going to be using. Here, you can see that you have the white, green, green, red dragons. So you're looking to you're looking to call the green dragon. Maybe draw yourself more dragons, actually. But I would drop the 1 bamboo here, and the reason for that is because you have 3, 4. Only tile that can help you there would be the 2 bamboo, and 2 already works into 3, 4 anyways. So there's realistically no reason to keep that tile. Now it's all about thinking what you can grab. See? 2, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Probably drop the white dragon since white dragon just came out. That's how I see it. I would pass here. Unfortunately. Ooh. That makes me half regret dropping that 1 bamboo. Yeah. To you at this point. You can drop that and try to go for something else here. Definitely half regretting that 1 bamboo drop. If you see that 1 bamboo again, probably call it. If you can. I dropped the... Yeah, that's fine. Time to drop that honor. Ooh, that's nice. That is nice. I probably... You gotta think about your hand right now. You got yourself a second pair, but the thing is, you kind of want the green dragon called and turned into a triplet, because that's worth a Yaku. That is worth point. The pair of 5s you now want to keep because one's a red 5, and it's a Dora, so it's worth points. So you want to keep that. So you have the 2, 3, 4 sequence, pair of 5s, 7, 8. You can turn that into a sequence. So I'm mainly looking at your pin side right now. Do you want to drop the Dora tile, which is worth points, or do you want to keep it and potentially use it? Because if you do, what you can try to do is drop the 1 pin here first, so that the 2, 4 works with the 3 pin, or the 5, and the 5, 7 works with the 6 pin. It gives you options. Ooh. Now I'm really sad that I told you to drop that 1 bamboo. I will drop the 3 bamboo here. What you just drew. Yeah, that was a mistake, dropping that 1 bamboo. But there's no way to know early on, at least from when I think about it.
So that 1 cost for the game.
Oh, that's fine. Stuff like that happens all the time. But this draw, I wouldn't think too much of it. I'll just drop it. It doesn't progress your hand in any way. Going around in circles based off what you draw is no good. You really want to stick with the game plan and go and roll with it. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what you're looking for. Probably drop the 2 pin here, and that's because you're looking to call the green dragon, or just complete your sequences on your pin side. Exactly. Pong. That's the green dragon. Now you drop that for a 2-sided weight, or you drop the other one for a 1-sided weight. The 1-sided weight has more points because you keep the Dora. The 2-sided weight is easier to win off of because it's 2-sided. Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
I'm out of my drink again. Oh. Ooh.
Now just a way of those 2.
There is. Yeah. It wasn't a lot of points, but you won, and that's how you do it. That's honestly how you do it. And there are times where, even though you're not a dealer, you might want the smaller hand. The reason being, you want to kill someone's dealership. That's the reason. You don't want someone to be dealer. You go for that fast hand and end their dealership as soon as you can. With your hand here, it looks like you can probably go for a fast hand. The reason being, your pair of white dragons can be called to make a triplet. Your pair of 9 bamboo can be called to make a triplet. You just drew a pair of 6 bamboos. Or you can work with other sequences you can call. And your hand might not even be a small hand here. You can go for a full flush, a half flush with the bamboos and the white dragon. So yeah, I'll drop the 1-9 mons first. Think about dropping the 5-7 pins if you draw no more support for them. But the fact of the matter is, the 5 pin is a Dora, so you might think about going White Dragon, 1 Dora again. Wherever comes faster, in my opinion. But it's all in your playstyle. Maybe you don't care about that, you want the half flush, you want the full flush, then you just drop it. That's exactly what you're waiting for. Unless you want a full flush, but in this case, you actually could have kept the east here and potentially waited for a single tile wait on the east. It's called Tanki. It's hard, since it's a door tile and not many people will be dropping the door tile. Yeah, now we just drop the 5-7 pin here. Your hand's almost done for the full flush after all. Also, a rule of thumb when discarding tiles is you want to start from the middle out, and that's because as the game progresses, people are going to be wanting those middle tiles more. It's more likely they're going to be waiting for the middle tiles versus the outer tiles, since the outer tiles has less tiles you can be working with. So I would drop the 5 pin here, and that's because that's a Dora, and it's also in the middle. So it's worth a lot, intrinsically. So what that means is that it's very dangerous. You don't want to be holding on to that for too long. Get that out of your hand ASAP, and then that way, chances of dealing in lowers by quite a bit. So now you're thinking about outs, and there you go. The game's telling you your outs. Probably drop a 9, personally. There's no real difference there, honestly. That's just how I would do it, personally.
See, so just waiting on one.
It's a single weight, but it's a nice weight nonetheless. Ooh, wait. You got options. If you hover over them, it tells you your options. But honestly, your options are all the same, actually.
They're all the same.
It's all the same. You can drop whatever you want here. I would drop that. And the reason for that is because if you notice, you actually have Itsu in your hand. You're waiting on the 3 bamboo. So the 1, 2, 3 sequence, you have a 4, 5, 6 sequence, and you have a 7, 8, 9 sequence. So you actually have an Itsu, as long as you keep your tiles as they are. There is Half Flush Itsu White Dragon, 430 food. 7,700 points, that's almost a Mangan. Practically a Mangan. There it is! Very nice, very nice. Okay. Your East round. Your East on South round, because you're a dealer. So your pair East actually does something for you. I would think about getting rid of probably the bamboos, personally. It's a hard say. Yeah, you can really bend your hand in multiple directions. Yeah, it's fine, honestly. You could also think about getting rid of the 7-pin, 2-pin, because they're kind of duplicates in blocks of sequences here, whereas you have the 6-mon as your pair, or the East you're looking to turn that into your sequence, or not sequence, sorry, your triplet, since that would be your seat wind.
Again?
Hey, you drew it back. So think about dropping your 2-pin now, because you have your 2, 3, 4 is already done, and you have a pair ready to go. So you're not in need of a pair. 7, 8, by the way, potential. And you could potentially call that, actually. With the idea of calling East later down the road. I would drop the 8 here. It doesn't do anything in your hand. Oop, not that 8.
Oh, okay.
Not that 8 either, the one you just drew. You drew the 8-mon. The 8-mon doesn't do anything in your hand. But now you'll have to get rid of your bamboos as well. Okay. So it wasn't wrong to drop your bamboos. You could have used it for sure, but here I would actually also think about dropping your 8-pin, because the idea is you're keeping that 4 on, since it's the Dora tile, it's worth more points. So by keeping it that way, you want to think about 4, 5, 6, or if you don't want to do it that way, you can always 7, 8, 6, 7, 8, 7, 8, 9 pin, and then work your mon tile some other way. So you got more options. It's all about what you draw and how you want to flex your hand. Now, the white dragon, really not going to do much for you here. So it's up to you to discard that now or later, but I would discard that now so that I keep my hand flexible. Keep your hand open to possibilities. 2. Yeah, there's not much going on with your hand here. It's all up to you. I'd still keep the east. It's like, think about what you're keeping, right? You want to keep your finished blocks, your potential blocks, your pair. What do you want to discard? Because your 2 could have worked into the 4.
Yeah, I know.
And thinking about like what goes into the door tile usually is what people want to do, since door tile is worth more points. It's always up to the player's style and whatever goes best with how they play.
Free of
That happens. And it's unfortunate when it does, but it's hard to get a read on that. You'd have to be discarding in a different manner altogether to be able to keep tiles like that, which makes it difficult innately. Okay, and that's where the 2 would have come in clutch. But since... Yeah, you can just go, do whatever you want here, I think. Just remember, you can't wait on a 2-mon. So if your win condition has a 2-mon in it, you have to avoid that, unless you think you're going to draw it yourself. I'd probably get rid of either your... hard to say. There's reasons to keep your pair east. There's reasons to keep your pair of 7 pins. 7's fine here. It works with your 6. It's just you drop the 3-4. Is that something you're going to be doing because you dropped the 2 earlier? Or are you just going to drop the 3 and wait on the 4, 5, 6? In which case you'll probably drop the 7 mon. You could call that, but it banks on the idea of you're calling the east, by the way. Which is possible. Yes. There we go. Now you're waiting on a win. You're waiting here now. Simple, right? 5-8. Easy. And you got there are lots of 5-8s left too, so you're in a good spot. Jimo! Ooh, and it's an Aka, so it's an extra points. Exactly. Just like that, 3,000 points. And the person on your left called Riichii, so you got their extra Riichii stick. Easy points. Oh, wow. You could probably go for something like a Toy here. Or even a cheat toy. 7 pairs? All triplets? You have a lot of pairs. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs off the bat. So my first discard here is probably, yeah, West. The win that doesn't do anything, but even though you notice how your North doesn't do anything, but it's another pair. In a hand of this many pairs, that's usually pretty acceptable. Because you're looking to make the call. You're looking to make, to utilize these pairs in either all pairs, or you can call for triplets. That's the door tile. If you go for all triplets, just remember that's a specific win condition. You need to win with only triplets. So it's very possible you're at 4 pairs already. Remember, 4 blocks of 3 and a pair. So you want to be keeping your pairs and dropping your non-pairs. That's fine. That is perfectly fine. Yep, and the game kind of slows down for your hand sometimes if no one drops your tiles. It's just how it goes, unfortunately. Nothing to fret about. Just gotta keep waiting.
Yep, keep waiting.
There it is, wait!
Oh.
No! That's your pair!
Yeah, I totally forgot. I accidentally clicked on it.
Yeah, you gotta stop autopiloting. That was your pair. Now you gotta discard the 5-pin. That would have been a very nice extra Dora. Unfortunately, you're going for an all triplets, so you have to make sure you can't use that anymore. Yeah, and very unfortunate.
I clicked it too fast.
Yeah. Gotta be careful. You're again, when looking at tiles, assess your whole hand every time, or know what you're looking for, so that you don't accidentally throw out something you're looking for.
Nothing.
No. Unfortunately, that's just how it goes sometimes with toy hands like these. If no one discards the tile you're looking for, it gets pretty rough. I'll take that. No, again, you're not looking for cheat. That doesn't do anything. In fact, that buffers something else. So yeah, pass this. Yeah, the 4-pin you gotta break. You gotta discard as well. You've discarded it once and it doesn't do anything for your hand either. So. Oh, there it is. Pong. And then you drop the 4-pin. 2 more calls, and then you're on what's known as a Tanki weight, which is good. Not the best, but it becomes a win condition for yourself. So definitely something you're looking forward towards. So here, I would hover over the tiles, see which one has the least numbers left, and drop that one. So that's gonna be your 4 or 3, which is probably just a 3 here. Nice, you drew it. Okay. Yeah, drop the 4. And now you're looking to call the 6-mon. Or if you happen to draw support for your 5 or 2, I would drop the other just so that you can... 5, drop the 5. Perfect. You're in Tenpai. I was on a 3-6, you're on a 2-6. But yeah, that's how you do it. Sometimes it works out faster, sometimes it doesn't. But you gotta keep your dealership, and now you gotta go in, and you have a pair of East. That's pretty good.
Should I go for West? Or 7?
Yep. Yep, the West doesn't do anything here. You're not thinking of making, like... There's not really a method to really use it with your current hand shape, so... 1 game so far. Yeah, we're on South 3. Here. All right. What do you think you should discard?
I think the 7.
I would discard the 1. If you're thinking of discarding the 7, the 1-4-7 block shape, you might want to just discard the 1. Whatever helps the 1 helps the 4 after all.
Okay.
The only difference would be if you draw another 1-mon, but like you can't really predict that. That doesn't do anything. That's just a dead draw. At least that's how I see it.
Yeah, it does look like the draw to me.
Looks like a dead draw again. These things happen. It's unfortunate, but that's just how the game goes sometimes. Just like how I draw these nice looking tiles that I can't use. That's a nice looking tile. I dropped the 7 here, personally. Your other shapes are pretty nice. Sans your east. But see, the 8-9 bamboo is hard to work with because it's only waiting on the 7 there. That's all it's waiting on. But if you can make it work, it will be nice. But if you can't, I would drop the 8-9 bamboo, personally. It sucks because the 9 bamboo is the Dora, and that's points. But your hand's pretty shiny as is. You have like all the Akadoras, the red Doras, the red 5s. So, see, that's hidden points. People, when they play this, they're aware that the red 5s are extra points and they're live somewhere. They don't see it in the discard pool. But you can't always account for it. And that's just the nature of the game.
I see.
Just because we're aware of it doesn't mean we're not going to play into it sometimes if we're trying to push a hand. Up to you. And I say that because it's your hand has potential to go for like see you east you want, by the way, but just by the way. I dropped the 2 bamboo here. You could have called the 6 bamboo, by the way, because you could have got 4-5-6, 4-5-6, 4-5-6 for mixed triple sequence. You're actually very close to that. So you call that 6 bamboo there. You'd be in Tenpai right now. In fact, that would be yourself. Yeah, drop that. No. Drop. Yep. Drop that. And if you win on that 6 bamboo, it's worth more points than winning on your 3 bamboo. So, goes back to being a little unfortunate in the timing there. If you just call that 6, but it's okay. Drop that 5. That's 5 that's not worth extra points. And you're hoping for the 6 bamboo to show up again.
You know, it's 400 points left.
You can, by the way, you still can win on that 3 bamboo. It's just you lose out on a little bit of points, but a win's a win. And you're the dealer, so you can repeat your hand again. So if you can get that W, is all I will say. Like this. The 3 bamboo doesn't work in my hand, so I would discard that normally. Yeah, so this was 4 Han 30 Fu. If you had that wouldn't have made much of a difference, by the way, because if you had that 1 extra Han from the Sanshoku, that would have bumped you up to Mangan, which would only been like an extra 300 points. Oh, that's a very nice hand. You have South, the round one, you have Green Dragon, so that's 2 Yakus potentially. Yeah, I would drop the 9 here. Perfect drop. Your hand is very nice already, as is. Now hang on. You could call this, actually.
I could?
And here's my reasoning. South and Green Dragon, both are win conditions for you right now. By just calling either or calling both for extra points, they're win conditions. So if you want to go fast, you would call this, and just wait till someone else drops the South or Green Dragon and call that, and you can just spirit your hand that way. This way you're not waiting. Here, you drop the 1 bamboo. That's a stranded tile in your hand. You don't need it. And this is what I mean by like good fast hands. The 9 mons you want to keep, by the way. That's your pair more than likely. You can drop the 7. Oh, that's a Riichii. Oh my god, that is so early. Okay, there's no helping it. You just push here. Because you don't know what they're not waiting. You don't know what you're waiting on. The only thing you know what it's not is based off what people discard. So there's no helping it here. It's an early reach. It's a super early Riichii. There's no real defense you can play. Shall Riichii as well. Ooh. Okay, you gotta start deciding here. Because that's extra points if you keep it. But is it safe enough to do so? That's the question. Is it safe enough? What would you push? Do you drop the 4? Do you drop the 9? Do you drop potentially the Stealth or Green Dragon? Maybe the other pair, the Bamboo Tiles. So now that you know 9 is safe, you can drop the other 9. And now you can potentially drop that 4 pin? Potentially. But it's a push though, it's a push drop. Yep. It went through, so now you're waiting on either or. South or Green Dragon. Both side nets you W. That's a pretty nice wait as well, by the way. Pass. Yeah. You're just waiting. There it is! There it is! And you got a lot more points because of the extra Riichii sticks on the table. Ta-da! And that's how you get a first place.
First win.
That's how you do it.
I see.
See, it's a little bit of luck, but it's all about knowing how you want to play your hand. When you got your hands that were bad, know how to play defensively. You saw someone call Riichii, you start thinking about what should I what should I discard to make it so that I don't deal in. If you're not losing points and someone else does, that's great for you. Like, you may not be gaining points in your current positioning, but also let me change the rules so that we see the hands again. That's lame. But by not losing points and then eventually finding an opportunity to get points for yourself, you're just that much closer. And that's usually how Mahjong's play. Think about risk and reward. Is your hand worth a lot of points? If so, push, get those points, because if in the case where you do win and you rocket ahead, that's very, very good for yourself. And before we continue, let me go grab a drink. I'll be right back. I'm back.
Welcome back.
Okay, do you want to change the timer so that it's a bit shorter now?
Sure. How about this round we just play how we want?
Okay, so just standard then?
Yeah, standard. Like, this time it's just like a normal round. I don't look at your hand, though.
Okay, I'll just set everything to normal then. And yeah, okay. Oops,
Okay,
I didn't
we
save
just
it.
play with the flow.
Save that. Okay, and I'll stop streaming and I'll stop watching.
Yep. Then we just play around and see how well it goes.
Yep. Alright,
Without any
let's
help.
start. Let's go. Dun, dun, dun.
C.
Hmm. Damn. Dead hands.
Yep, yep. That's just how it is.
Tsumo, よく見ろ。一通。
Just a straight. That's all it was.
All it was.
Cheap hand, straight. Could try to go for a half flush or full flush, but it didn't pan out. Or more like I didn't believe in the half flush and then chose not to back out of a full flush and it became just that. Alright, Tsubasa, Samuel said hi to you.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
No, it's rushing me.
Yeah, this is standard time, so there's not much. It's all this time to think. But that's why you want to get into the habit of having an idea of what your hand wants to be, and then playing to that hand. That way, you don't have to spend so much time thinking about this or that.
Riichii.
Mm-hmm.
眠くなり始めたら危険信号だ。あなたの手配、私は全部見透かした。ドン、あなたの貢ぎ物はもらった。私は白羽アスカ。永遠の眠りから覚めた魔女だよ。リーチ。
Two of them.
地
ロン。
Of
叶いまし
course.
た。リーチ、タンヤオ、三色同順、イーペイコー、マンガン。
So notice that for her, Sanshoku Dojun is 2 Han. And that's because when you open your hand for Sanshoku, it reduces the Han count by 1. Hmm.
Mm.
Okay. How's your hand shipping up? Mine's doing alright.
Not that great.
C
トン、あなたの貢ぎ物はもらった。リーチ、人はみんな自分の運命と戦うのです。ロン、
Oh no.
Damn.
叶いました。リーチ、
Yep.
一
The
発
6-9 weight.
赤ドラ1、ドラ1、マンガン。
That's unfortunate. And that's what you want to avoid. That's why you gotta always think about it. It's like, is Suji actually safe? That's what's known as long Suji. It gets a lot of people. Gets me all the time too. I a lot of time I try to bank on that. It just doesn't work out. Sucks. What can I do though?
Riichii, 落ち着け。これはただの調整だよ。
Nice.
C
Leon is so hard.
Yeah, sometimes they'll be like that. Ooh.
自分の運命と
Riichii.
戦うのです。ロン、
Oh, come on.
ゆりか
The chase
叶いま
one.
した。
What was your weight?
一発ピンフドラ1
Where's the 5?
ドラ
Bamboo.
1羽マン
Ah. The door tile. Yeah, the problem with waiting on the door tile is that a lot of people won't drop that. Because they know it's worth points.
The EA is brutal.
And that's why when possible, especially for a way like that, keep your hand quiet. If you have a win condition in there that's not the Riichii win condition, then keeping your hand quiet is usually the way to go for a nice silent win. And that's why people do it. It gives them a higher chance of getting the win. So note, we're not in East Wind anymore, we're in South 1. So you're gonna need something else to help that, if you have some sort of actual win condition.
G あなたのことは見抜いた。
A win condition. You're still lacking a win condition from your open
欲しいなら持
tiles.
っていけよ。俺はいらねえか。
リーチ、人はみんな自分の運命と戦うのです。いらないものは存在する必要ないね。
ロン
Oh, yes. Chanta.
チャンタ、ドラニ。
Points. Lucky. So yeah, you were lacking a win condition there because you didn't have anything. You called it East, but it wasn't East round, and you weren't East seat.
I see.
So East didn't do anything there.
ポン。
Now Dragon does something. All dragons are win conditions. So that's already a step in the right direction.
Pum.
And you notice how I called the south. It's south round. So this is the round wind. So that is also a win condition.
感
Nice.
リーチ
Uh,
人はみん
so with
な
that player.
自分の運命と戦うのです リーチ怯えないでね ロン私のリーチピンフドラ1
Well, wasn't a huge deal, and luckily,
It's game over.
but it is also game over. Yep. Yep, and that's how things happen. Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Happens to me too. A lot, even in tournament matches where it's like, oh, guess I'm Shadow Realmed.
Yeah, the timers can be painful as well. I didn't really want to play the 5, I was trying to play the 8 instead. But the timer made me force to play that instead.
And that was 5 plus 20 seconds, so it's 5, and then you have 20 reserve seconds. Did you want to go for another?
Okay. Yeah, one more is fine.
Okay. I remember I participated in a tournament where the timer was set to 5 seconds. That was great.
5 seconds.
Yep. It was speed reach. It was speed mahjong. They really didn't give you much time to think. You had to know what your hand was, and you had to really play quickly. It was great, though. At least I enjoyed it. I have a bit of a history with Hong Kong style mahjong, and that one, that style mahjong is very brainless. You kind of just turn off your brain and just play. Because there's not many rules. It was just you just call pong and con constantly.
Oh, makes sense. So it's more easier.
Yeah,
Pum!
because there wasn't like win conditions. There's no free 10. Nothing, nada.
Again?
自分の運命と戦うのです リ
Now remember, the best case scenario is you don't deal in.
What?
リーチピンフ
So this is a very easy Riichii Pinfu hand. It was a two-sided weight. There was no indication of them not waiting on that, so it just deals in, unfortunately. That's why you gotta be careful for stuff like that. The easiest indicator to use has always been the tiles they discard, and then the Suji. Half Suji still makes it considered dangerous. Long Suji, well, long Suji is barely a Suji.
폰 시 폼 칸
리이치
Oh, the AI Riichiis.
Two of
The
them.
second Riichii. Of
叶い
course.
ましたリーチ一発一通ドラ1赤ドラ1羽マン
I was waiting on that red dragon. I'm a little sad.
That AI is OP. No more white dragons.
Yep, all gone.
Riichii.
Always that AI.
No 点。ちょっと意外な選択だね。やるじゃん。
ポンポン
So many pong.
Mm-hmm.
Again?
Pon, あなたの貢ぎ物はもらった。
Huh?
Did you forget about the win condition again?
No, it always says no Yaku for some reason.
It's because you have no win condition. That's what no Yaku means. You've completed your hand, but you don't have a single win condition, so your hand is worth no points. Remember, dragons and specific winds. There's your round wind, and then there's your seat wind. South is neither of those for you.
Two of them.
リーチ一発ツモ赤ドラ1ドラ1マンガン
There is a trick for beginner players, and that's just don't call anything. And just learn to build your hand from only your self draws.
That's true. Not calling it might be better.
I don't really advise that too often because it is valuable to open your hand at times, but without knowing win conditions, it's probably better to just not call.
Run リーチピンフドラ1
Still safer now.
When someone reaches that early, and you don't have a good or decent hand to push with, just ideally you just fold, which is why I did.
ポン。タン。
リーチ
リーチ。人はみんな
2?
自分の運命と戦うのです。
The chase.
ロン
Uh-oh. You
Damn.
did not want to drop that one.
リーチドラにドラさんハネマン
Uh-oh. That was a lot of points. That is the power of Riichii, by the way. That Ura-san, extra 3 points, 3 Han from the Hidden Dora.
The AI didn't let Riichii that round.
Hmm.
これを出そうかな、それともあれを出そうかな。リーチ。リーチ。人はみんな自分の運命と戦うのです。
ロン
Wrong. Yes.
法廷鎮一イーペイコー一通赤ドラ1 3倍マン
Sanbainman. Oh.
You became first now.
I was really lucky. That was a big hand. I was debating on how to discard to change my weight, because my weight could have been a couple other things. I'm glad I picked the right one. But you can see, like, hands like those, you don't have to call Riichii. And you don't have to open it either. You can just keep it closed, concealed the whole time. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a small hand either. Most of the time, it's gonna be like a quick, concealed pinfu hand or something. Panyao. But the other half of the time, it's gonna be something big. Maybe someone has 3 Doras in their hand, like they're just hiding it, whether it be Akadoras or the Dora. It's just a fully concealed hand that just has a lot of extra value randomly. That happens a lot too. So, just gotta be really careful. The way you can tell, Riichii City makes this much easier. I don't really have the setting turned on, but one of the things you can turn on is called Show Tsumogiri Tiles. It's near the bottom of your settings on the settings page. And basically what that means is that it'll highlight the tiles, or like darken the tiles that players discard. But only tiles that they drew. So if you draw a tile and discard it, that's called Tsumogiri. And Riichii City actually highlights that for you. When a player starts discarding the same nothing but their draws over and over and over and over again, sometimes that's a pretty good indication that they're in Tenpai. Not always. Sometimes they're just super unlucky. But if you can kind of get a hint or a feel for stuff like that. Again, not guaranteed, but that's one method that Riichii City provides for stuff like that.
Damn it.
Riichii ポン眠くなり始めたら危険信号だ
Just to remind you, it's not east wind.
リーチロンリーチ
Riichii
一
一
発
発
ピンフ
ピンフ
赤ドラ1
Yes. Points. Nice. I bullied that AI out of like first till last.
ポンポン
いらないものは存在する必要ないねあなたの手配私は全部
And by the way,
見
this
透
is what I
かした
mean about like playing defensively until you find an opportunity to actually win back some points. Like I was in last for a little bit there after dealing in early on in the east round, but
あなたの
by just
貢ぎ物
biding
を
my
もらった
time, I want to point out it's still south, not east, and you're in north. You're
Oh,
sitting
okay.
in north wind. Stuff like that you need to be careful of. So now you gotta figure out what's your win condition. Now that you've called the east, what can you do to win?
G
Gotta think about stuff like that. Do you have any other wins? Dragons? Something to get you that easy W, or maybe going for the half flush? Sanshoku, the mixed triple sequence, all valid.
Pum!
G あなたのことは見抜いた
You're kind of missing a win condition there, by the way.
あなたのことは見抜いた。
You may be on a single tile, wait, but it doesn't look like you're actually able to win.
Nope.
So now your objective is simply survive. Don't deal in. That's your objective.
Come.
天杯
I just got some points.
Yep. As long as you're ready to win and it goes to exhaust, you'll get points off of players who are not ready to win. It doesn't matter if your ready to win tiles are legal, the game doesn't care.
俺の我慢もそろそろ限界だ。リーチ。
So much dead drills.
Yep.
Tom、あなたの貢ぎ物はもらった。
What kind of hand is this?
リーチ、人はみんな
A
自分の運
chase.
命と戦うのです。 ンが足首を掴んだ。
Surprise! It's a con. Nope.
脳天
No, I lost place.
Honestly, that was pretty painful. I would just kept the 9 soul. I could have won that. It's okay though. Gotta pick and choose, and sometimes you don't choose the right one.
Riichii 人はみんな
Okay.
自分の運命と戦うのです
Okay.
Riichii.
Riichii 意義あり
Ooh, another chase. Nice.
逆転の時
Let's see who gets it.
私は白羽アスカ永遠の眠りから覚めた魔女だよ
Oh,
Oh, the 8
it
got
was
it.
the bot.
リーチツモピンフ
It was a pretty small hand, luckily.
Buckley. 300 points from that.
Almost finished off that AI.
ロン
Huh?
Whoa.
ピンフ赤ドラ1
This is the Damaten. A Damaten Pinfu. And there was a Dora tile in there too.
It's trying to make me less lazy.
I'm amazed the bot knows how to do that. Actually, that wasn't even on purpose. They couldn't Riichii. They didn't have the points for it. They had 300 points. They couldn't reach even if the bot wanted to. Oh, that's really funny.
トンあなたの貢ぎ物はもらった。
ポン。ツモ。
There it is. Not a big
ラ
hand,
ン
but it's a
ド
hand.
ラ1。
500.
オーラス魔眼覚醒勝利をつかみ取る。
Hmm.
「いらないものは存在する必要ないね」。
Damn.
リーチ。 Rom.
And that's it. That's over. That's game.
GG.
リーチ一発
一発
本一
本
チ
一
ートイ
チートイ
ドラにバイマン
Yeah,
I
so
really
much
bullied that AI from first to Shadow Realm.
At least I'm not fourth.
Yeah, no, that's really all you can ask when with against like things that happen like that, where someone's just getting the big hands left, right, and center. Just don't get hit. Like that's the idea. Don't get hit by the hands, and just play it out. If you happen to get a nice quick hand, see, it's steps, right? The first step is learning not to deal in, and it might suck to just not win hands sometimes, but that's the next step. It's about knowing what hands you can push. See, if you learn it the other way, it'll be hard to really play the game because if you only learn to attack first without learning to defend, you'll find yourself dealing in a lot and thus losing out on what you might have thought were winnable hands. But by learning defense first and learning what you can't deal, learning how to avoid dealing in, then you can start seeing, oh, well, I can't win with this hand because if I try to win with it, I deal in and I wouldn't win anyways. So, but eventually you'll find yourself in a position where you start losing a lot less points because whenever you get hit, it's because someone sumo. You didn't get hit by a ron. When you get hit by a sumo, as long as you're not a dealer, you're not paying all that much. So the next step after learning defense is learning when to go on the offense, when you can start pulling your punches and you go do some quick hands or, oh, this is a Tanyao hand, Yakuhai hand, like knowing different win conditions to maybe cheese away through a hand. So sometimes you have to recklessly push. Friend rooms are great places to kind of recklessly push and see where limits can be. I mean, you can do that in rank too, but if you're not afraid of losing ranks, which honestly doesn't matter. But it's ultimately knowing how far you can push. Because while sometimes playing defense is great, certain circumstances require you to really reach for the stars and get that big win to turn it all around. I mean, the logic is if you're for some reason in fourth, there's no harm, no foul in trying to push for a big hand and dealing it anyways. Since you're last, you're technically losing the game already. So maybe go for the win, go for some extra points and get yourself out of last place. And if you do, that's already well worth it.
I see.
I think you started playing a bit better, honestly. I don't know if you felt that, but I feel like you just need a bit more pointers of like Yakuhais, where they count as a 3-tile win condition. You kind of kept calling tiles that didn't give you that, which made it really hard to kind of bend your hand around it, which is why you see like no Yaku it means basically you accomplish the basic condition of 4 blocks of 3s and a pair, but you didn't succeed in getting yourself a win condition.
I see.
So you missed a win condition. So the game you can't win.
Figure when to pong and when to chi.
Yeah, pretty much. That's kind of why I think people say a beginner advice is to just not call anything, just play your hand out. I mean, for me, it's just I find that it's about knowing what you can and can't do. I don't know if Riichii City has, well, Yaku and Han, they kind of have it. Yeah, if you scroll down, you can see a list of things like 1 Han, no Yaku. So these are what's considered points, but they don't give you a Yaku. They don't give you a win condition. And then next is 1 Han, and these tell you what are win conditions that are the most basic ones. Riichii, Ipatsu. Well, Ipatsu comes along with the Riichii. It's a kind of package deal based on the win condition. The seat wind, the prevailing wind is what they're called, but that's just the round wind. The dragons, Anyao, or all simple, Menzen Tsumo, which is a fully concealed hand Tsumo. you win on draw. You don't have to call Riichii. It could just be a concealed hand through and through, and it can also be whatever you want. Pinfu must be concealed, and they tell you how you accomplish that win condition. Ipeiko is another concealed only win condition. Chankan, when you steal, when your win condition is someone's kan tile. When someone calls an open kan, so they call Pong first, and then they call kan. That would be known as like Chankan, rob a kan. Rinshan Kaiho, when you call a kan and the tile you draw from calling the kan is your winning tile. So there's a bunch of pretty interesting, unique win conditions. And as long as you know what they are, you can try your hand at getting them. So like when you made your calls and there wasn't really an option for you to win, ultimately one of the possible win conditions, since you called a pong, was to call a kan by having a quadruple, and then that kan the tile you draw after calling the kan is your winning tile. That's Rinshan Kaiho is the name of that win condition. Or there is another win condition where you win off drawing the last tile on the wall, or you win off the last discard. After that player draws the last tile on the wall, they discard a tile, and then you win off that tile. I did that once. And yeah, those are win conditions. Some more easily met than others, but by knowing them, you learn how to attack. But personally, I consider learning defense way more important, just because by knowing defense and you don't deal in, you won't be losing as much points, and that's really for the best if you're not losing points. But yeah, if you have any other questions, just let me know.
Okay. Why is the AI always able to like get Riichii so quickly? Or is it RNG?
It's definitely RNG. They're not always that quick, but it's very similar to like actual like live mahjong. Sometimes people's starting hand are just really good, and they get the very quick Riichii. So the early Riichiis, depending on how early it is, you can still play defensively, or you can just try pushing. When someone calls what's known as a double Riichii, when they Riichii before any calls are made on their it's on their first tile that they draw, and before any other calls are made, if they call Riichii, that's called a double Riichii, and it's because it's just super early. There's not much defending you can do because you don't know what their hand is. It's way too early in the round, so you just gotta take your shot and be like, well, at that point you don't ignore it, but at the same time you can't really play around it. So you have to just play your hand and just hope for the best. It's also like the AIs kind of know what they're doing, kind of. Some of them made some questionable decisions, but the AI knows certain tiles to keep. The AI is programmed to play off of efficiency, I believe. So efficiency being that you just discard the tiles that gives you the least outs. So when you have single honor tiles, or you have tiles that don't really mesh well with the rest of your hand, and there's not many tiles that can support it, those generally go first. The AI should be able to do that fairly efficiently. Efficiency isn't always the right play, but it's usually the right play. No harm in playing efficiency, and by that it just simply means you look at the hand, pick out the tile that has the least support with it, and get rid of it. If you do that, your hand will come together quite a bit faster, because that way you're not running around in circles, being like, oh, I discard this tile, then I have to go discard that tile. That's why knowing what kind of hand you have is important. It's quite important, so that you know what tiles you can think about discarding down the road. But you always want to reassess your hand every time you draw. You always want to make sure that is it still the most terrible tile in the hand, so I need to get rid of it, or is it not? If it's not, then think about what's the newest one.
So, like, from the round, the wind tiles. So why you say like you shouldn't pong when it's not that round though?
So the wind tiles are special only because they occupy two very specific wind conditions. So when we look at the Han and Yaku, in the one Han section, you have what's known as seat wind and prevailing wind, or round wind. Seat wind means it's your seat. Your seat changes every time the dealer changes. East, south, west, north. Your seat is relative to who the dealer is. Dealer will always be east wind. So the seat wind counts as a Yaku, a wind condition. If it's not your seat wind, it's not a wind condition. Prevailing wind is the round wind. So east 1, east 2, east 3, east 4 is east. South 1, south 2, south 3, south 4 is south. That's also a wind condition. That's also one Yaku. So if it's not the prevailing wind, so if it's not that round wind, so say we're in east, if you call the south and you're not sitting in south wind seat, then that's just a random triplet that you just called.
So if your seat is marked in red, can you pong and it's not your round? Would it still count?
Yes, because there are two separate wind conditions. It's called seat wind and prevailing wind. Those are two separate wind conditions.
Oh, okay.
They just happen to be in regards to wind tiles.
Oh, I get it.
So it's about where you're sitting. That's all it means. Seat wind is about where you're sitting, and round wind is about the round. If we're in east round, then east. If we're in south round, then south. But seat wind is where it gets more personal. Wherever you're sitting down, that wind is yours. That means that wind, if you call it, or if you have a triplet or quadruplet of it, then that's a wind condition for you and only you.
Okay, thank you.
So that way in the future, if you do see that, definitely call it. But try to really avoid the other winds if you don't have a wind condition. Like, it's fine to have the winds, that's not a problem. It's just when you open your hand and call it, it's not a wind condition, so you gotta find yourself a wind condition. But as long as you have a wind condition.
Okay. Yeah, I think just mostly that.
Yeah.
And then no Yakus.
It's definitely wrapping, and this goes back to knowing wind conditions. You gotta wrap your head around the fact that certain wind conditions are definitely things you want to memorize. They're like the easiest ones, which is all simple, all triplets, the round wind, the seat wind, and the dragons. Those are, as far as I'm concerned, the easiest wind conditions in the game.
Okay, thank you. It's just only those ones I need to get improve on. Just only those.
Those are the basics. Like, when I started playing the game, I entered a tournament, and my only knowledge of the game was Hanyao, so all simple, and Toi Toi. Those are the two win conditions I knew, and I made it to the semifinals. So I made it to the finals of a tournament, and that's all I did. I just played with all simple and all triplets. Obviously, I got some other ones like Riichii. Riichii is fairly simple. I didn't even know what Pinfu was. Like, I went into the game not knowing what Pinfu was. So, and Pinfu is actually one of the standard hands people play to win with because of how simple it is to make. But that is something that I don't really push onto other players, just because it's like, it's a bit more to wrap your head around. I feel like all simple, everyone can do all simple. It's any hand that has no ones, no nines, no winds, no dragons. That's it. That's all simple is. But your entire hand has none of those tiles, so your entire hand is built out from tiles of 2 to 8 of any suit. That's why it's called all simple. It's super simple. Or all triplets. That's the name says it all. Your entire hand is just triplets. It doesn't get any easier than that. And once you know that, and then you can think about the super easy 3-tile wind conditions, what's known as Yaku High. As I said, the round wind, the seat wind, and the dragons. You know about these wind conditions? Oh, easy, you're golden. You don't have to always win the big hands. Get your dealership, just start winning quick, small hands, and it really adds up. Like that one guy gets a Mangan, that's 8,000 points. But if you're a dealer, and you just win one hand like 4 times, there's Honba, so as you continuously win, each hand's worth a little bit more and more and more. Usually Honba is worth 300 extra points. So by winning 4 times in a row, even if they're 1 han, dealer gets 50% more points, so you get 1.5k points. The second one gets you 1.8k, the next one gets you 2.1k, the next one gets you 2.4k. So all that adds up. 1.5, 1.8, that's 3.3. Then you got you got 2.1, so that's 5.4, and then got 2.4k. So that's 7.8k. So your four quick wins as dealer in a row will almost match one guy's Mangan hand. And Mangan hand, well, sometimes easy, sometimes not. But it's only assuming that you're only winning 1 han hands as dealer. If you win higher value hands, boom, more points. Obviously, there's pros and cons for both sides, but as long as you know what you're doing, it's very easy to progress, in my opinion. And this also minimizes RNG. If you know what you want, you don't have to go around in circles with your draws. You draw certain tiles, and you know you're going to need to keep it, and just to increase your chance of completing your hand. That's how the better player, like the higher elo players, play the game. They just look at the tiles and they think about their hand, they think about their win condition, and then they play all around their opponents to the best of their abilities. And that's it.
Okay, so thank you very much for practicing with me.
No problem, anytime. Thanks for inviting me.
You're welcome.
Alright, have a good night.
Have a good
See you
night.
around.
See ya. Have a good day. So thank you very much for everyone stopping by Tamashi, Poshke, Alter, and Rockman, Nova. And then early on, it's gonna be another mahjong again during the morning. Which is like 9 AM. Okay, so I'm gonna end the stream now. I think I learned some useful stuff on the wind tiles. Now to Pong and Yuwanti Chi. It was a valuable lesson. So see you tomorrow morning.